Louisiana State Police Colonel Robert Hodges joins us, the head of the Louisiana State Police. Robert, how are you doing?
Good afternoon, Corey. Appreciate being a guest on your show.
I appreciate you joining us on the program, Colonel. I really do. Hey, this weekend in New Orleans, man, I guess like a little preview for you guys, for Ann Kirkpatrick's NOPD, Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Department, a little preview for the Super Bowl, basically. That Taylor Swift crowd was enormous.
It certainly was. We're very pleased with the attendance at the event and those who want to come back to the city of New Orleans and state of Louisiana to enjoy all the culture, food, music, and entertainment that the city provides. And with regard to public safety, it was uneventful, and that's a great thing. And we've had a lot of positive feedback from those visitors and residents who were local that attended the events over the weekend for all 3 nights.
No, I love all the photos of state troopers, NOPD, these Swifties, giving you guys these, arm bracelets and the like. It's how you want it to be. Police and citizens hand in hand, everybody on the same page, not one side and another side.
Certainly. Our trust within the community continues to grow. We're always working on to strengthen that partnership with our residents and visitors. And it's no secret that Louisiana State Police has partnered with the New Orleans Police Department for over half a century. Most of our listeners are familiar with seeing us during special events such as Mardi Gras and high-profile sporting events, and that included Taylor Swift over the weekend.
Yep.
But, 2024 has really led to some monumental strides with state police in New Orleans by reducing crime throughout the city.
No doubt. I want to talk about... Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say it all really attributes, Corey, under Governor Jeff Landry's direction to put a permanent Troop NOLA in the city that's known as Troop NOLA, and it's parish-wide. So not just the French Quarter like the troop we had in the past, really to cover all of the city, all neighborhoods, uptown, downtown, Lakeview, Lakefront, Gentilly, New Orleans East, the Lower Ninth Ward, the Marigny, all of the neighborhoods, Lower Garden, throughout the parish. And I think that's really important for our residents and visitors, that they feel safe everywhere in the city and not just in the tourist area.
No, when the governor first mentioned it, I was for it. I'm for it in its present form. I kind of assumed it would have been like the old Troop N, and I was like, that's going to be great. They'll be back in the quarter. They'll handle tourists and the like, and then it'll free up the NOPD to hit the other neighborhoods. But it's like you said, it's beyond the quarter, and that is the better plan. It really works well. I want to talk to you about that in a second, but first, I guess when I get you on the program a few more times, I'll razz you about Brother Martin, since I went to De La Salle, old Catholic League. But today I'm going to cut you some slack, Chief. All right.
No worries. It's Brother Martin has, and all the other area high schools are very proud of their alumni, as we should.
Yep.
Be as members of that class, and it's a great thing, as you know, being a resident of the state, that especially in the New Orleans metropolitan area, we speak of what high school did you go to. So
Boy, do
I certainly want to give a lot of credit to Brother Martin for my shaping and upbringing and my current position.
Yep, no doubt. When you were at Brother Martin, did you envision a career in law enforcement or no?
I had interaction with the local police and had some interaction with state police, but was really uncertain, just a young high schooler involved in athletics and growing up into a young man. I can't say that it was directly in my vision, but after college, during college, it became more clear.
When you got into law enforcement, was it straight to the state police, or was it at a different level?
Well, after college, I had to fulfill a military agreement and some training, and so I really went right into state police over 29 years ago.
Wow.
I started at Troop B.
Wow.
In Kenner.
Oh, it was in Kenner. It wasn't at Vets and West End back then?
Well, I started shortly at West End, and by the time I graduated the academy, we had relocated to I-10 at Williams and Kenner.
Yep. Now I remember the old one, and then of course the one where you're presently at. When you became a state trooper 29 years ago, did you ever think you'd be heading up the entire force?
No, I can't really say I did. Like most of us, when we're young troopers, we were attracted to the job, the professionalism, the discipline, the willingness and desire to serve and make a difference in the community, being a part of a public safety team. You just really want to do your job. And the thought of superintendent is almost, not even in your mind. And quite frankly, to be fortunate to be in the position and being chosen to lead the agency is almost like winning the Powerball. It's not something you expect. It just kind of happens.
Yeah, exactly. How many troopers are there total in the Louisiana State Police, Colonel?
So we're just under 1,000, but we have our ranks continue to build. We graduated 55 troopers a little over 3 weeks ago. And then we have a class in right now that started a week ago that has 52 troopers,
wow,
cadet troopers. And they're at what we call a shortened class. They're prior law enforcement. So they're all sheriff's deputies or police officers in Louisiana, and they will graduate on January 24th, which is just a couple weeks before Super Bowl. So we're very excited about our ranks continuing to build across the state. And then, of course, some of those troopers will find themselves in Troop NOLA as we continue to build those ranks and get to the full complement.
Yeah, yep. When you have a class come through, it's one or the other. It's either young, green, non-policemen that y'all are training from the get-go, or it's a class like you just mentioned, one that's folks that are already in law enforcement and you bunch them together.
So it's a combination. Traditionally, it's a mix of those right out of college, right out of the military, or experience from a local police department or sheriff's office. That's traditionally the 24-week academy, which we have another one starting on December 15th, which will be a traditional 24-week. The one that's in motion right now is the 14-week for those with prior law enforcement. It's only the second one we've had. We had one about 4 years ago. It was successful, but we graduated 23. I think we're doing a little better this time around as men and women come back to the ranks of law enforcement and public safety. So we're confident that in the future we'll have more of what we refer to as a law enforcement only class, but we'll continue with the traditional classes because we feel that the combination of both young and seasoned veterans is what makes state police a better agency. Our youth of today bring a different perspective. Those with experience with a few years bring a different type of experience, and those with many years. And keep in mind, there's no one specific pathway to our agency. You do have to have either college, military, or prior law enforcement, or a combination of all three to get selected.
Wow. So either college or military or prior police experience, or you're not getting in this Louisiana State Police.
Yes, sir. That makes you eligible. The current requirements are you need to have 3 years active duty military with an honorable discharge, 60 hours of college credit, or 2 years of level 1 post-certification in Louisiana with a local sheriff's or police department or other state agency. Those are the minimum requirements to be eligible for the process.
Smart. Hey, what's the attrition rate every year, retirement and the like? How many troopers do you lose every year?
It's varied over the last few years, but on average, 50 to 60 troopers per year. So that's why it's imperative to continue to have the classes beyond that so we can build up our ranks. It's no secret that law enforcement across the country has had a decline in those interested in the public safety realm for the last 4 years. But we've seen in recent months across the state and across the country that men and women are coming back to public safety, specifically law enforcement, and we're taking advantage of that opportunity to both of the ranks, both within our agency and, of course, those we work with on a regular basis.
You said about 1,000 right now. What's the ideal number? Somewhere around 1,200, 1,500?
Closer to 1,200. We're not at 1,000 yet. We're under 1,000, but we hope after we graduate the next two classes that we'll be stronger at 1,000. And everyone that drives on the highways knows that in the last 15 or 20 years, the population has increased. The roadways, the interstates, the highways have doubled in size, and they're always adding a lane that's more traffic. And certainly we need to provide that public safety piece for our residents and visitors so they can navigate the highways safely and effectively. And then in the city, when we think about those who are raising a family in any neighborhood across the state, they want to feel safe when they're bringing their kids to school or going on an extracurricular activity in the afternoon, whether it's getting dinner, going to the grocery, going to the house of worship on the weekend. We want them to feel safe. And so if law enforcement has a full complement both within our agency and those that work with us in local and other state agencies, then we can feel confident that we're providing the highest level of service with a quick response time and a deterrent to those that want to commit crimes.
Yep. We're visiting with Louisiana State Police Colonel Robert Hodges. Hey, Robert, when you were named chief or head of the state police, what were your thoughts?
Well, I was very fortunate because Governor Landry named me about 6 weeks prior to his inauguration. So it gave me a lot of time to plan. My two predecessors didn't have that much time. So I was able to put together a leadership team and a vision and a plan to move the state forward, which included recruiting. It included selection of commanders and, of course, the formation of the new Troop NOLA, adding a new recruiting command. That's something that's really important to us. And I wanted to make sure our listeners know that although we have a class in now, we have one that's starting December 15th, that those deadlines have passed. We do have one starting next June, the 22nd in 2025, for those who are listening, who are college graduates or law enforcement officers or those in the military who are about to finish their commitment and service. We were taking applications. LSP.org is our website. It will link you to the State Police Commission. But recruiting, obviously, selection of commanders, initiatives, understanding our re-engagement with enforcement. If you recall, during those times, coming off 2020 and 2021, where we had the pandemic, enforcement activities kind of declined because of the interaction with the public, and we didn't have as many residents and visitors out on the highways. And so we wanted to make sure that we re-engaged with our enforcement efforts and also our community outreach. A lot of people are unaware, but state police is very much involved with quality of life issues and training and education for our youth in the high schools. We do mock vehicle crashes where we go there and our troopers talk to them about the importance of good decision making behind the wheel of a vehicle, not being distracted, whether it's talking to your friends or on the phone, and the safety and importance of what to do when you come in contact with law enforcement, as well as making sure that we build that trust within our community. So that way, when there is a problem or someone unfortunately is a victim of crime, they are trusting of law enforcement to report it and also to be a witness to us when the case goes to trial, because it's so important that we follow through with the case to ensure that those who have done wrong are held accountable. And so that outreach is really important, partnering with local organizations and the New Orleans Police Department. It's the very fabric of any community policing model, and I think we've done a good job with that. More importantly, what we've done differently in my planning is that we've really partnered with our other state agencies, the Louisiana Wildlife and Fisheries, the State Fire Marshal, Alcohol and Tobacco Control, Probation and Parole, and our federal agencies, the FBI, the DEA, the Secret Service, the U.S. Marshals, the ATF, Homeland Security Investigations. That's why we've been so successful in Troop NOLA, is because unlike before, we didn't have as much interaction with our other state agencies outside Louisiana State Police and New Orleans Police Department, to include the Harbor Police and the Levee District. And when you bring us all together, we become a force multiplier. And I think the public sees that. Certainly, those who want to commit crime see that. And the uniform presence has made a difference. So when you talk about my plan and what I was doing in those 6 weeks, it was really brainstorming and seeing the best way forward. And I think we've proven that thus far, and we're going to continue to build on those initiatives. We've had a lot of success in New Orleans. We're taking the similar approach to Baton Rouge and Alexandria and Shreveport, because those areas also have some crime challenges. Although we won't stand up a troop like NOLA, we can certainly bring the partnerships with our federal and other state agencies and local agencies to ensure that we have an engagement, and also those community outreach and quality of life issues. That collaboration is really important. So state police is not just a true uniform trooper you see on the side of the road that maybe stopped you for driving a little too fast, or because you didn't have your seatbelt on, or came out to your traffic crash. We're also in the community in making sure that we're engaging our youth as well as our seniors and others who are most vulnerable in the city.
Before you took over, in the past, the Louisiana State Police have taken some hits reputation-wise. In just the few short months that you've been heading up the agency, you seem to have done a masterful job in increasing the quality of the policing, as far as diminishing crime, yet engaging with the public where there's a much bigger trust than there was before. That's kind of a hard thing to do, to do both at the same time. And you've appeared to have done it, and in a short period of time.
Well, I think a lot of credit goes to the selection of the men and women that are in Troop NOLA and that we send to police that area. We look for those who have prior law enforcement experience in an urban area, so that way they understand the culture and the community. And we look for men and women who are from this area. In our recruiting, we want to select men and women from the area that they grew up in, the neighborhoods they know and understand, because they're a part of and fabric of that community. And when they do that, it helps us police more effectively, and the trust is there. Every culture is a little different. Faith-based initiatives, very much the same. And understanding a neighborhood and the folks there is really the starting point that helps us elevate the trust and then the reporting. And I think that's where we've been successful, along with our partners. And the combination of those things, no one more important than the other, has led to our success. And that's why the arrest and the drop in crime is directly attributed to all of those things. And let me make something really a point that I've got to give credit to. Because Attorney General Liz Murrill is prosecuting Louisiana State Police cases, we're getting higher bonds at court, stronger, stiffer sentences. And that is so important, because if you place them under arrest and they get out right away, they're not being held accountable, and they in turn committing more crimes. So that's a large part of what we do. It's three parts, as you know. The police make the arrest in the case. The district attorney, or in New Orleans with state police cases, the attorney general prosecutes, and then the judges have to render a decision and give out sentences. And when those are stiffer and people are held accountable for their actions, it's a deterrent to those who want to commit crime. And more importantly, it keeps the public safe, because those who committed a crime are being given sentences which are equal to those crimes, and they're not there to commit more and more danger to our residents and visitors of the state.
No, I think it's a definite deterrent. I remember mentioning this. I had a caller call in, and caller's like, do you think the criminals are watching or listening to your show? I said, no, I don't think they are. But I think the criminals are talking amongst themselves, and they see a state police presence in New Orleans in particular. They see an NOPD presence because they're freed up to do things they couldn't do before because you guys are there. So I've noticed like the four-wheelers on the weekends, the drifting of the cars, all that crap is almost down to zero now, where before it was like an everyday occurrence, especially on weekends. So the criminals are talking amongst themselves, and they know that they can't get away with what they used to be able to get away with. With that said, are you pleasantly surprised at how effective Troop N is in New Orleans, or were you were expecting that result?
We did have high expectations. We didn't know how fast or how soon it would happen, but we understand the most important thing in law enforcement is a uniform presence, whether that's a trooper or a New Orleans police officer in a marked vehicle. Having a constant police presence throughout the city is a deterrent for all crime, especially those you pointed out, the lawlessness of the motorcycle riders, the ATVs, the street racing. We've seen a decline in that. And
yep.
We know it's directly related to the officer presence and the patrolling of all areas, all the 8 districts of New Orleans. And because of that, they don't know where we are or what uniform or agency we work for, because we combined with and partnered with the local police, with other state agencies and the federal agencies. So they don't know what vehicle's behind them or who's watching and making sure that they're remaining within compliance within the laws. And so I think they're going to look for other places to commit crimes. And we hope that they would just completely change their mind and change their lifestyle. But nonetheless, we're pleased with the current pace, but it only is successful because Governor Landry made it a permanent troop. It's not just we're going to come in, clean it up, and then go away. We're going to remain here with a consistent presence in the city with enforcement efforts and partnerships that's going to reduce crime for years to come. And that's where I think, to your point, the criminals are talking because they know this is not a one and done, or, hey, they're just getting ready for the Super Bowl and then they're going to pack up and leave.
Yep.
We're here long term. And that's a good thing for everyone in the city and of course, the state of Louisiana. We're very proud of that. And we don't take anything for granted. We know that it requires a lot of persistence, a lot of training, a lot of bringing we call it your A game or your best day every day, because you just never know what the job brings ahead. And I think it's no secret we've had some challenges with injuries and vehicle crashes and things of that nature. And it's a dangerous job. And unfortunately, sometimes people get hurt, and sometimes it's our own and other police officers. And we want to keep them safe. So we're ensuring that we continue training, advanced training, whether that's at our facility in Baton Rouge, whether it's in the classroom on legal matters, whether it's through community policing efforts or de-escalation or duty to intervene. All of these initiatives, the color of law, all of these things we do to ensure that we're performing by using intelligence-led policing, constitutional policing, all of the initiatives, and talking to the motorists, talking to those folks, explaining to them, because the young generation today has a lot of questions, and sometimes they ask too many, and we can't always give them the answer right away, depending on how sensitive the situation is or how dire or emergency it is. But in engaging our community and our youth and explaining them why, and I think once they hear it, although they may not like it, they understand it, and that's where the trust continues to build, which helps our success in policing effectively.
Louisiana State Police Colonel Robert Hodges, head of the Louisiana State Police. Thanks so much for the time. I look forward to doing it again with you soon.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me as a guest, and I appreciate all your listeners.
My pleasure. That's Louisiana State Police Colonel Robert Hodges.